Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports, presented by Sentinel Storage. Thank you to everyone for listening in live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, for those watching live on YouTube, as well as for those listening to us via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here today. And what a way to break down game one of last night. Then also having Ron Lowe here with us, former NHLer, former NHL
round
coach.
Of clicks,
and
round of clicks.
Almost round of clicks for Ron Lowe,
Great
who's back on the show once again. Last year's was an amazing hangout. Looking forward to this again. Ron, how are you doing today?
Really good, really good. Just ready for some 2 hours full of action.
Oh, perfect.
Good. Buckle up.
Did you get your sleep in last night after that game?
You know what? I think I had a couple of wines and I went to bed, but didn't sleep for a bit.
Man, oh man. There's nothing to talk about, really, Ethan.
No, we're good.
Yeah, we're very calm.
I was the only good news about the Oilers losing is not what is it didn't go to overtime for you necessarily.
Matthew, I was ready for OT.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crew at BP, Westgate, shout out to Curtis and Tony, the staff there. Fantastic as always. Great vibe, great prizes that we gave away at the intermissions. Everyone there was ready for overtime, especially you get that 5-3 goal, you get the 5-4 goal with the empty net, you get the 5-5 goal, and then literally like 2 minutes later, that flutter goes in and it just kills the vibe. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready for an epic game one overtime. Unfortunately, it did not happen.
Cash, what was the mood like at BP's when it was 4-0?
The hope wasn't lost.
Okay,
seriously,
because that's the other question I'll have for the two of you.
Yeah.
Is
well,
when did you feel like
have.
the Oilers? You're like, they might have this comeback, or they have 4-1. It in them. At
I'll just say 4-1, and I'll defer to Ron here.
When did you feel watching that game yesterday? Like the Oilers got something here.
My buddy texted me and said, I'm going to bed. And I said, don't go there yet. And that was about 3-4 minutes left to go in the second period.
Okay.
They were starting to get some time in their zone.
Yep.
I thought. And a couple of chances, but man, there were some weird calls in that hockey game last night. Like, I don't care what anybody says. If you can't see that puck change direction off the glass.
I didn't even think you have to see change the direction. They left a mark, it looked like.
And
it looked like they left a mark on that rink that you could be like, oh, there it is.
And Hyman's headshot. What is that? Hits him in the shoulder.
Oh.
I don't know. I thought it was.
Oh, the Deneau?
Oh.
I'm one of those guys that goes, I appreciate what Deneau's doing there.
Oh, yeah.
The gamesmanship of that, getting that, he sold it. Yeah. Bravo to him for getting that done because he watched that replay.
Yeah,
and nah. But so for the Oilers start, does some of that contribute to, like, a lot of these guys really haven't played a lot of hockey over the last month? Is that just them shaking off the rust through the first 40 minutes?
Well, that's what I said. Their first power play looked like they haven't been together all year.
Yeah.
I mean, it did. It looked, it was totally out of sorts, and that's not the way the Oiler power play has been performing. So, but you look at it, you're 16 games without being together, the whole group. And that, to me, I don't care how long you've played together in the past, you're still missing that timing and a lot of other things. The other thing I think is they were probably nervous. Like, I think really nervous because they haven't been together in the same room for a long time. So, I don't know. I got a good feeling about the series still.
Kemper's beatable, hey?
Yeah, definitely he is. Yeah. And I think last night they basically showed that in tight, you got to get in there, and that's where you're going to score. The dirty area. Corey Perry loves those. Zach Hyman lives there.
Yep.
Frederick, if we can keep him on the ice, I think he likes those kind of areas. Hey, you got to look at some positives. Guy that has scored 2 goals all year ends up with 1 in the playoffs. And just like last year's playoffs, the
Called
kid
it.
looks like,
Called it.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Matthias Janmark, as we love to affectionately call him, the janitor, He doesn't shoot a puck past the goalie in 82 games. First game of the playoffs, shoots one past the goalie for the first time all year. Like I called yesterday, by the way. But a guy like that, like, can you tell which guys are gamers in the postseason that rise? Did you man, you knew hockey players. You played with them. You watched them when you were in net. Can you tell which guys will show up and which guys might get, I don't want to say scared, but turn away from the battle of a playoff series?
You know, it was really funny when I was with the Oilers coaching them. I had a room full of them. Like, I was really lucky. I probably had 2 or 3 guys that weren't really into the bang and crash thing, but the rest bought in. They knew you weren't going to win unless you went out and, hey, I was blown away. Kelly Buchberger, I mean, he played hard all the time, but somehow or other you end up getting goals for you in the playoffs. And like, there wasn't a hit that he didn't like. And Todd Marchand's another guy that kind of bought out that he must have ran Hatcher against Dallas that year, probably 60 hits.
That's insane.
Now you're giving away 7 inches and I don't know how many pounds, probably 180.
Small child.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's how he played, man. I mean, and I enjoyed that part of it because I don't know, it's almost like they get together. I know the last game against Colorado, we said you can't come back into our dressing room after the first period if you haven't had a hit. And I think we ended up with 44.
Odd, because you can only dress 18 skaters and 2 goalies, right?
Yeah. And I mean, that's what we ended up with after the first period. And Colorado knew it. I mean, we were, it is. And you know what? Last night, I don't think the Oilers got into the banging part of it till well into the second period. Mm-hmm. I don't know who keeps hits, but they said we out-hit LA in the first period. No chance. Yeah. And in the second and third, I thought we actually really did.
This is Hangout Headlines brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. From their premier golf facilities to the corporate branded products, the Ranch, it's your all-in-one tournament host, proud host to over 180 tournaments every year, including the EST Golf Classic. They're here to help you execute all your tournament ideas. Book your tee time or tournament today by visiting theranchgolf.com. You can also book your tee time today by visiting theranchgolf.com. Let's look a little bit at the Oilers positives for yesterday. What are the biggest positives that you think the Oilers are looking back on today as they head into game 2 tomorrow?
Number one, to me, was the whole fact that everybody talked about you're not going to be able to beat that system that LA plays with, where you back up. I'm telling you, last night they beat it. And one of the ways they beat it on McDavid's goal is he was a mile away when Bouchard passed the puck to Draisaitl. Mm-hmm. But he was coming a million miles an hour. So you need the pass from Draisaitl. You got to have it perfectly on the tape. But now he's got them all standing still. I mean, he blew by that defenseman like he wasn't even there. So I think, first of all, I think they figured out maybe a couple things. I think they can break the system down. But I think getting to Kemper is the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. Like, because this man has been on fire. I mean, he's been one of the best all year. Mm-hmm. And they got into some dirty areas. And I don't know. I think there's there's a lot of positives out of the game. I mean, the biggest thing is no quit. There's no quit in the team, which is, to me, what it's all about.
Yeah. That could have easily just ended 4-0. 4-1, right?
Easy.
Like, you just skate through the third period, get ready for game 2. Everyone sits there just like, wow, what was that? But they took those 20 minutes to make sure that
this team's been that way all year, actually. I think their third periods have been, I mean, you end up saying, well, why can't you play that way the whole game? Well, you can't. It's absolutely impossible. If you're going to go out and go as hard as you do in the last minute and a half of a game to try and score, your whole team's going to be dead by the time it's over. But it's they know how. They've been doing it all year. They can come from behind. They've left a lot of games on the table at the end of the game where they didn't quite score
Yes.
or didn't quite make it. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of those games this year, but the fight was there until the end every time.
I'll follow up with this because I think this is a natural question anytime a comeback happens. And I think somebody did ask it yesterday to Knobloch. I think he kind of, he didn't brush it off, but he's like, well, I just did my usual intermission routine. But you're down the way the Oilers were down in that game. And the question that has to come out is, what did you say to the guys, right? You're the coach, you're steering the ship, you're setting the emotional vibe for the group on the bench, and guys react to how you lay things down. And Chris, I'm paraphrasing, but he just said, I had my normal message for the group, nothing spectacular. Like I didn't have to go in there and yell or peel paint off the wall. How do you handle, or how did you go about a situation like that where you were down? And I know people will point back to 97 against Dallas and the comeback in the last 3 minutes. That in itself was isolated. It was amazing. But like Ron Lowe, the coach, do you need to go yell at the guys in game one that have been to the 7th game of Stanley Cup final the year prior? Like, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. And, the other thing, it's kind of a unique situation where you don't have to say anything. You just put Connor and Leon together again. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that made a difference in the hockey game last night again.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can go to that and the other team goes, okay, this is going to free up our other guys, but your other guys are getting outscored. Now you're in a situation where you're going, damn it, this is going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I didn't yell much in the playoffs because I think the playoff atmosphere, if you've got leaders, then you don't really need to say much. You might have to tweak something if you see that they're getting away on you on a certain area of the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I really don't. I mean, I guess if you're getting blown out 4-1, you might want to go in and say, shit, we're better than that.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's go. But not much more.
Seemed to work last night. Okay, post game, it wasn't a sticking point. There were a million other things people wanted to talk about, but the fact that they had to go, as we call it, nuclear with Connor and Leon. This was just my take on it, and I'm curious to know what you think. People go, why does every Oilers coach always revert back to putting McDavid and Draisaitl together? And like the temptation to me as an outsider is you're the two best players on the team, two of the best players in the world. Why the hell wouldn't you put them together? And I finally just said it last night, Ron. I'm like, there has been Ken Hitchcock here. There has been Jay Woodcroft. There has been Todd McClellan, Dave Tippett. You got Chris Knobloch now. All of these guys are great coaches. Some are in the Hall of Fame. Some are young, like Jay Woodcroft, like Chris Knobloch. They always go back to Leon and Connor. They're all like, how do you justify not putting them together?
Well, I think you'd be probably considered stupid
Yes.
if you didn't revert to them if you're down in the game.
Well,
I mean, they read off each other like it's unbelievable, some of the passes that they've made to each other.
I feel like the flip side, if yesterday's game happens and the Oilers lose 4-1 and they don't put McDavid and Leon together, the criticism will come that why didn't you put those two together, right? I think that's like it's Gretzky was left on the bench in the shootout type thing. If you have that option, why wouldn't you use it when you need it?
That to me was a dumb play.
Fair. No.
Well, yeah.
100%. But,
I mean,
it's,
you
But your
don't-
buddy
it's
Mark
one of those-
Crawford made that call,
that's-
so it's all good. Yeah.
but you become that coach if you leave them separate
Yeah.
to a degree. Like if you don't put them together and you lose the hockey game, people are going to be like, well, why didn't you put these guys together?
I think last night's option was let's put them together and see where we go. And pretty much you kind of know where you're going to go with them. Now it's whether the other three lines can hold up their end of it after you've done that. And last night they did. So
Yep.
that's where I think, I don't know.
It's not baseball where you put up a lineup and you're going 1 through 9 and you can't change it later on your order. In hockey, it's fluid. That if you needed to break them back up again later, you could break them up. Like that's what I don't understand why people always get upset about line changing, because it could just keep changing. It could keep evolving. And game 2, they'll be back separate.
Yep.
And hopefully they don't need to go to the nuclear option. But if you're down again, you have that nuclear option, which is probably very nice safety net to have.
I love the concept of rolling 4 lines. Probably the most beautiful thing if you can roll 4 lines and attack in waves. But how realistic is that? Even if you're one of the best teams in the league, you don't see it. The bench gets shortened. Ron, I'm assuming you can tell which guys are going pretty quick into a game.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially in playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, who's on their tiptoes and who's a little bit back on their heels. And I don't know. Like, you even watched last night, you watch Winnipeg. They go to Scheifele and Connor. When they're down, they're going there.
Yes.
And everybody's got their go-to guys. I mean, Caulfield and Suzuki, for Christ's sake. I mean, where are you going to go if you need a goal? Well, you fire together what you've got, and you're not exactly putting it in a blender. They've been in that. They've been in that whirlwind before. So I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's interesting, and that's why I bring it. I mean, it had to come up because you're in the playoffs. It's do or die. This is it. But people are still like, why do you put them together? Why do you got to go to them so early? Because like you just said, you can tell who's going and who's not going.
Well, it wasn't really early when they put them together. Now we're halfway through and we're down 4-0 or 4-1. I mean, that's not early anymore. No. Now we're looking to generate something that we know that they can generate when you put them together. And whether it's Hyman or Perry or who else is with them, those people now know, okay, we got to go to the front.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are going to happen there now. And yeah, I think it's a feed off.
Do you trust your other guys though? Like the third and fourth liners, like in that situation? Because you know every second shift is going to be your big dogs. Do you have to say anything to your other guys that are going to be now put together in that situation?
You know, the thing about the third and fourth lines here is that they're pretty damn good checkers. Like, they all understand the game in their own end.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, if you've got that feeling, then you can trust them all.
Right.
We will get to hockey helps almost. I do want to throw that out there. We will discuss that. We've got a long 2 hours to come. Thoughts always welcome. Parish Rules inbox 780-218-9999, or you can jump into the nasty chat. The EST Hangout. It is presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage expert, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transition. Canadian storage provider by CanadianSentinel.ca. Okay, I want to come up with, because I'm so glad we have you here today, because this came up on the post-game show. Cass brought it up, I think,
Among
initially.
many other, there's so many things last night.
So the Oilers make this big comeback. They tie the game. McDavid and Leon are on the ice for a lot. And then it was even said on the broadcast, I don't know if, I think it was Louis that said.
Jack said it.
Jack said it?
Yeah.
The Oilers are going for it because they kept Leon and Connor out there, maybe a little gassed. Do you like the idea of Chris Knobloch trying to finish it in regulation? Or is that one you would have liked to have seen him to be like, okay, you have this epic comeback. There's, 2 minutes left in the game. Let's not try for the win, but let's protect to make sure that we get to overtime. What did you make of putting Leon and Connor back out there pretty quickly as they are rather tired potentially?
Mm-hmm.
That one I don't know. I'm not. I think I'm probably with Chris. We've got it rolling right now, and can we finish it off before it's done? And I don't know. It's just LA, that building, some way or other, some kind of crap happens every time. And like that shot that went in, Bush could have blocked it with his teeth and not lost one. and now Skinner doesn't see it.
Right.
He's got Fogle jumping in front of him. I mean, sometimes you just got to say, well, hey, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It just took place. And, but I kind of think I'd probably have thrown them back out there too.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Maddie.
Well, it
'cause
was a
people
great
were saying
point.
like they played like 4 of the last 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
They got that tie, like you said. So you get that gut instinct. You're like, screw it, we got these guys on the ropes, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it took a really bad bounce in the offensive zone too. They had the play started.
Yeah.
And then the puck rolls, which it does in LA very often. You could play soccer on the ice. And I mean, that happens. And that's what happened. A turnover. And now they're in a foot race going the other way.
And just the weird, just change up shots. Like, and it wasn't,
Absolutely.
was like, and Dano wasn't trying that. He completely fans
Oh
on
my
that
God.
puck.
No, it's
But it's a perfect play that for them that it's just the way it flies. Like it could have went any other place.
it was
Yeah.
actually
But it-
sickening.
It-
Like to watch it from, and you're going, did that just happen? Like, and I'm going, like, it didn't even dent the back of the net.
No.
I mean, it was like, I don't know. Yeah.
A muffin, as we'd like to call it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. Then the flip side, of that, like, how hard is that for Skinner? Because some people think you got to go have that.
Yeah.
How hard is that for a goalie to play?
He would have been fine had Fogel not been in front of him doing the
Just took
two-step.
him away.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he absolutely did.
The lack of a box out, moving him out of the way from
has to
Bouchard.
happen.
Yeah.
It just has to
It's so
happen on the
frustrating.
play. It has to be.
Yeah.
I'm locking up with whoever I'm bringing over the blue line. I got to make sure that, because what happens if Skinner makes a save?
You don't want to let the rebound get to the LA King. Right.
That's-
You
that
got
in
to tie
the
your
end.
guy up. Yeah. That's
That
the
in
first
the
thing
end
I would
is
think
what-
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Man. Yep. Like Joaquin was on in the last hour of the morning show, and he's like, he said that Ron basically said the same thing as you, but he's like, I just wish he could have thrown out a glove and batted it out of the air, but he couldn't see anything.
No, in the end, I mean, he allowed 6 goals last night. Which ones should he have stopped? I don't know. Byfield's shot from the side. How many guys are scoring those goals now? Half the
A lot.
freaking league are deciding that that's the way to go because guys are falling off the post into the middle of the rink,
Mm-hmm.
and you can bounce pucks off them. Did Byfield need to do that? I think he meant to do it. 100%. I've seen Connor do it like 15 times now.
Hurdle did it the other night to Gustafson
Yeah, he
in the
did.
Vegas game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had like this much space and he banked it off his head.
That was an unbelievable shot, dude. Like
That's
he
what I thought.
literally had an inch.
Yep.
But I don't know. That would be the only goal that I would call questionable out of the whole night would have been that one. Other than that, I mean, they're top.
Yep.
And that, I don't know. If you can fix that with the defensive core you've got right now without Ekholm, I'm not sure, but that's what they got to do.
So I'm guessing you would go back to Skinner then for game 2.
Yeah, I would.
Because
for sure.
then that's going to be, at least from the other fan base, that is going to be the big question mark.
Yeah.
And the discussion point before tomorrow's game is it Pickard or is it Skinner? We saw how Pickard played down the stretch, especially when Skinner went down with his injury. Okay, what type of leash then does Skinner get? Even though maybe most of those goals weren't his fault, if you're Chris Knobloch, are you not having to have like, well, this other guy was playing well. If he lets in another 4 and through 2 periods or something, is that the leash that you, in a game 2 that you go to Calvin Pickard? Is it a loss in game 2, or is this kind of Skinner's net still for a little bit longer?
Actually, if the way Pickard's played this year, if they go down 2, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him start the home game. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. And actually, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him start game 2 because
Whoa.
he's been that good.
Well, on that, like,
But then are you blaming Skinner for your loss then? Or are you just doing what you've done all year?
See, and the thing is, they didn't do that much this year for the first half.
Yeah.
And then they started doing that. So that's where you get that argument. But I think like Knobloch did make the change last year in the Canucks. He's
that
not
was the second round and you're on the
100%.
ropes.
But what I like,
Yeah.
Not
Chris
game 1 of the
is a
first
guy
round.
that's willing to make those moves we've seen.
Yeah.
That I'm with it. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, I'm not expecting it. But if all of a sudden tomorrow practice we see Pickard in the starter's net, are we going to be shocked that Chris Knobloch did that?
I would be because both guys yesterday had an 800 save percentage.
I
Both
wouldn't.
guys.
I wouldn't expect it. But it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to do that because that's how well Pickard's played in his backup role. He's been really good this year. Now, would I change him? No, I wouldn't. Absolutely not.
How? I mean, like, listen, every coaching staff is different. Every management team has a different philosophy. We get that. But, like, when you were coaching, whether it was Edmonton, New York, whatever, is that a meeting with your other coaches, your goalie coach, your GM? Like, how would you approach a scenario like the Oilers are in today about your goaltending? Would you be like, okay, we got to talk about Stu?
I think what I did, I would go talk to the goalie.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel? How do you think anything could have changed during that game last night? And if you get any feeling of him wavering, which I don't think you'll ever get from Stu, then I think you got to look at the other option. But like I said, man, you've got tap-ins. They scored the same goals on the best goalie in the league, Kemper, last night.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff from in tight, one hop off, up, and I don't know. It's an interesting scenario.
Okay, well, a couple people, Brian and Easy Boy in the nasty chat, they both say that Skinner's lateral movement is poor and it's not helping the team. And then there's another, you saying, Ron, you had Cujo. Sometimes you need your goalie to stop those. What do you have to say about the lateral movement of Stuart Skinner?
I don't know. Like the technical part of the game, I really don't even look at it anymore. I mean, it's so different. It's so positional. It's you're just making it an odds game. All I know is that when there was a 5-on-3 last night, Skinner made 4 saves that were absolutely ridiculous, and 3 of them were lateral moves. He had to get from one side to the other. The goals that were scored last night, were there any lateral movement goals that he should have had? Like, throw that one at me. Which one?
That he should have had.
Kuzmenko was a backdoor tap in, open seam. Byfield was, like you said, bouncing it off.
Is that lateral move? That just bounced off of something. He knocks it down with his hand and one times it.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people would say yes to that because they just want to vilify Skinner. The Deneau second goal was an absolute delicious Chicago deep dish from Bouchard right into the middle. And he gets to snap one from 25 feet out.
That's not lateral. He's coming from behind from his own net, not expecting the puck to go right dead center onto the other guy's tape.
The Fiala goal on the power play, we had people saying you got to save that. And I'm watching that shot go bar down. And exactly, I'm like, I don't know who's saving that. Put Vasilevsky in.
I don't think Vasilevsky
put Hellebuck in.
That was as good as it gets.
Boom, boom, over your shoulder. I'm like, I don't think anybody's saying that. But there were people saying that you need to save there. I'm like, I don't know how you make that save, but okay. So
especially on that play too, the guy that passed the puck really sold the shot.
Yeah,
he did. He sold it. He's going, I'm shooting, and he wires it across.
Little freeze.
There are certain times when you aren't getting across if you're playing the shooter.
I'm just going to say it. We're at a point now where some segment of the fan base, it doesn't matter what Stu does. He's in their crosshairs.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that we've already given away goaltenders that were in their 3rd or 4th years, and they all ended up being pretty good goaltenders somewhere else. I think you have to. This kid he's taking you to the finals against some of the best goalies in the league.
Yeah.
And if you can beat out Ottinger, if you can beat out Hal, if you can beat out any of the guys aforementioned, then okay, tell me what's wrong with my goaltender.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, we have a team that scores goals. We also have a team that gives up a lot when they're not playing right.
Yeah.
Of stuff within from me to the screen. I mean, when I'm looking at 10-footers, and I don't know, I can't blame the goaltender. I can't. And you should win a game if you score 5. You should win it. Some nights you don't.
Mm.
Yeah, and the Oilers made a nice comeback, but it also they might not have scored 5. You know, who knows? LA maybe changed the way they played, and we'll see how game 2 kind of goes.
I've got a couple texts.
Go for it.
Yeah, Paulie Deuce. Text line 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers text line. Paulie Deuce says, "Holy cow, Ron Lowe. I sure miss seeing him throw his gum across the bench. Great coach. You only did that because you needed a fresh piece, right?"
Yeah, well, exactly. And Crow's hair was perfect. So,
Yes.
yeah, I tried to stick it in there, but it never worked. I threw it a little high.
Okay, I want to ask you something about that because like some old clips from the 90s popped up, and it might have been when you got into it with Mark Crawford. The old glass at the Coliseum behind the bench. Remember, was it Pierre Pagé that had the beer poured on him, or in that Flames game? Anyway, regardless, you were getting fired up, and Bill Guerin and Dougie Waite were trying to calm you down. And there's that little spot where Sparky sat in between the benches, and you did chuck the gum. Did you know people were like fans were like trying to like calm you down and pat you on the back?
No.
Like I saw that, I'm like, whoa, like that is way out of line. And I wondered if maybe like they were your family or something like that. But that's back in the day when the glass was still pretty low behind the benches.
That was actually kind of weird glass. I didn't realize if you leaned against it hard enough, you could get almost over to the other bench. I mean, it went.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For some reason or other. But yeah. No, that was an interesting night. I remember Billy Guerin grabbing me by the jacket, and I sent him a frickin' bill from the tailor about a couple of weeks later. He split the thing at the top. No, yeah, that was the funniest night because I had coached Crawford's brother, Louis, in Nova Scotia. When I was in Halifax.
Jeez.
And when we got into that with Crawford that night, I said, you know, it was right after the fight, and that was such a bullshit move he made. It was my fault. I should have picked up on it, but I didn't.
He sent out his big guys, right?
Yeah, the Goon Squad. And anyway, he held over at him. I said, you know what? I coached your brother, Louis, and he said you were chicken shit. And you know what? Crawford, for the first time probably in his life, didn't know what to say. He was like, I'm going, never mind. Whatever.
that was, because it pops up on social media. Like people will be like, this day in Oilers history, Ron Lowe goes berserk on Mark Crawford. And it's great.
That was in defense of my hockey team. I gotta lay that on me. Or whatever, but it's part of the whole thing.
Yeah,
and at certain times you have to get really pissed off.
The one thing I noticed, I'll end this portion of that with this. I'm looking at Bob McCaman on his headset, and he had his hands in his pockets, and he just kind of like looked at side eye and didn't really seem phased. He's just like, oh yeah, Ron's doing his thing. And was it Kevin Primo that you had?
Yeah,
as your other assistant coach? They weren't right there with you. They're just like, yeah. No. Ron's just doing his thing.
Bob McCaman was the best. He was probably cracking a joke with Boris Mironov down at the end of the bench. Unbelievable guy.
Thank you for the reminder. I'll ask you something at the end of the show. Go ahead, Matthew.
I like Boris Mironov. Like, that brings me back. Brian just wants to get our thoughts. Officiating game 1.
Oh yeah, good question.
Overall, like the officiating yesterday. Not like,
I don't know. I'm not. I can't get fined or anything anymore.
Yeah,
I thought it was atrocious. I really did. I think there was 3 or 4 calls in the game that I didn't understand, and now we're back to the same thing. Is there hooking and holding again? Because if there is, Drew Doughty can't play against Connor McDavid. He can't. He's got to hook him in the hands.
Mm-hmm.
He has to. And you look at the film, man. And I said the same thing the other night. Minnesota playing Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas must have hooked whatever
Kaprizov.
Kaprizov in that game 20 times. Not one time were they. Well, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Your stars have got to be able to perform as stars, and they have to be.
Why? And that's, to me, that's the bigger conversation for the NHL is you struggle at times to grow your product. Well, one way to grow your product is your stars. And it's not like asking for the stars to get preferential treatment. Just call the rule book. If you just follow the rule book from game 1 of the regular season all the way through game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, and you keep it all equal, well, two things happen. If Drew Doughty or the Golden Knights or something, they would have to adjust, and they would start to adjust to playing that game, or Connor would just blow by, or Kaprizov would do his thing, or there'd just be a lot of penalties. And so be it if there's a lot of penalties.
No.
They're breaking the rule book. And that's where I do struggle. I hate that about the NHL sometimes too. It's just like the stars shouldn't be brought down to everyone else's level. They should be allowed to be the stars, and everyone should be tried to encourage to try to meet the stars level. And to do that, to me, it's not preferential treatment. It's not the NBA where, give the stars extra fouls or something. This is straight up just call the rule book.
In the end result, if the referee says, I do not want to have an influence on the outcome of the game. Well, by not calling a call in the last 45 seconds of a game, have you not influenced it?
Yes.
You've influenced it every bit as much as if you make the call. Because
you can't be a ref and not influence the game, no matter what, you're influencing the game.
Yeah.
You're part of the game.
Yeah. And to me, saying that we're going to go Hudson Bay rules in the playoffs is absolutely ridiculous. I don't like it. And but everybody's it's tough hockey. Yeah, it's tough hockey. Hitting is but even like Stützle the other night in Ottawa, man, he comes out, he's got 9 hits. The guy played it so hard. He had one freaking chance where he was going to the net. He gets hooked from behind, and there's no call on the play. And you sit there and you just wonder. I don't know. That's always been a frustrating thing for me, and probably a lot of coaches, is that you just don't call the rule book the same way in the playoffs.
We had text last night asking about that, and I can only give my 2 cents. I'll ask Matt Cassian, our analyst, to give his 2 cents. And, Reed Wilkins will chime in. Hernan will chime in. But I'm at the point now where I just say, people will be like, the reffing was awful tonight. What about that call on Hyman? What about that call on this penalty? I expect so little from the officials across the board, whether or not it's an Oilers game or a Columbus and Detroit game on a cold January, on a Tuesday. Like, it, to me, I don't have an answer. I just say expect the worst from them night after night. There is no consistency, whether it's Wes McCauley or the newest guy on the officiating crew. There's no consistency. To me, they're spooked after what happened in that St. Louis San Jose series like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And they've never recovered. It was the hand pass that led to a goal that won a series, I think it was.
Yeah.
And since then, I'm just like, that's it. They've lost the plot. And now, I'll talk to players in the locker room at a great, I'm curious to know what you think of this, because the officiating has also evolved over the years, as it does, because there's new generations of refs. But I'm sitting there talking to 4 guys that take faceoffs in the Oilers locker room, because the night prior, everybody was getting kicked out. Leon gets kicked out nowadays, basically every second faceoff. And I'm like, what's going on? Why can't they just drop the damn puck? And I remember it was Jujhar Khaira is not with the team anymore. He played in Syracuse this year. He goes, you won't believe the crap that we have to deal with talking to these guys. We had to post their names on the bench to talk to them first name basis. If we don't say their name, they get mad at us. We have to be their buddy. They want to have these conversations with us. It's a absolute pain in the ass to deal with these guys. So I'm at a point now, Ron, as a media person, I'm like, I don't expect anything from the refs. I expect them to be crap every night. And that's sad. I don't know what it was like as the evolution of the officials progressed during your time as a player and then a coach. But I'm just as lost as everybody.
I think the rule changes have helped the game. But, okay, if I touch your hands, then I'm supposed to get a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
If I touch your hands. Now, in the playoffs, that seems to have gone away.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it in probably 5 or 6 games where it's happening. So I don't think you can change into the playoffs. The game is fast. It's really, really fast. And I think you make decisions. The ones that I can't stand is when the guy 80 miles away is making the call and the other guy that's standing 10 feet away isn't making the call.
Yep.
And you sit there, and that to me is really confusing. And I don't know. I really do believe that when and it's not a slam on the refereeing now, is I think the refereeing in our era was better. It was more charismatic. You could actually talk to a referee without him giving you a 10. You could get pissed off at a referee without giving him a 10. He'd tell you to take a hike. Now it's not so much like that. It's I guess it's the way everything's evolved.
Yeah. It was a very enlightening conversation with those guys, and I'm like, okay, well, now I get it, because it seems like...
Well, even last night, in the beginning of the game, the first face-off last night, did it not take like 5 different...
Yep.
Before we dropped the
Drop
puck?
it. Please drop it.
Let's get
Drop
going.
it.
No,
Proceed with the game.
They don't want to impact the game, but they impact the game. They don't want to impact the game, but then they also want to be these stars that are...
Well, I've always wanted to know what Leon is doing wrong in his face-off.
Gets tossed every second face-off.
Yeah, I want to know why.
Yeah.
It's just become routine.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're out. And like he's got to the point now where he doesn't even argue anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't say a word.
Knowing him...
Just no point.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah. Knowing him, all I would say is he's probably not that nice to them.
No.
So they're looking for it.
Or just he's German, and the Germans sometimes could come across that way, and they just take it that way.
He can be crusty. And he'll let you know how he feels.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, for years, I just wish that... I get that in the playoffs, maybe you let a little bit more go because it's playoff hockey. But when there are egregious things... you got to call the rule book, but also the consistency. And I'm not game to game. I want consistency. I want consistency from start to finish of that one game.
Yeah.
Like we saw an early penalty yesterday that was a little softer. I think Kulak took that first penalty, the holding of the stick.
Yeah.
And like, look, you could that's holding the stick. It's a penalty, but then that should be the standard for the whole game.
They called that one on Arvidsson drew it, and it was. Arvidsson tucked the guy's stick late in the game. They always couldn't score on that power play.
But every part of it, like I just everything. Then, like at that point, you're setting the rule that the rule book is being followed here today. Follow the rule book, like and call those penalties. And it's just sometimes I think we see games where the consistency isn't the same, even just in the game.
Like setting the strike zone, basically.
Yes, in baseball, we know when you watch the game, we'll go, the strike zone is this today. Like you'll see a ball that's called a strike, and you're like, well. In the first inning, they could call that a strike, and he's been calling it a strike all game. That's been his strike zone. The players get used to it through a few innings. I think we're okay with that as fans and as players in baseball. I like that in hockey with the refs here too, is that whatever you're going to call early, well, that should be your standard.
I know the other day I watched the Blue Jay game. The strike zone had to expand 5 inches outside. It was unbelievable. But everybody knew it. Yeah. And if the ball was going there, they were swinging at it because they're going, he's going to call this. Yes. And it went that way the whole game.
But everybody knows it, because if you didn't pick up on it, you're behind.
Yeah.
And it happens to both teams. Like the umpire generally has that strike zone. I always wonder why they don't just like adjust the strike zone after like 3 innings or something. Like on the broadcast, just make it a little wider or something. This is this guy's strike zone today, just or shrink it or something.
I love that they can like give a heat zone for every ump too. The stats and stuff baseball is amazing.
But just be consistency. Like because every ref, like the crews are all different. Like there's I know. I think a lot of people are going to, was it the Dano, the cross check on Dano from Hyman in the face and the chest? There was
Wallman. Wallman took that penalty.
There was an example of it, I think, in a Washington.
Gallagher took a shot to the chops, no call.
No call.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable because that was a flush cross check right on the chin.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at this and you're going, okay, to this guy, that's not a penalty. To this guy here, it's 5.
Yep.
What the hell? Anyway.
Did you work the refs?
Oh, yeah.
You worked them?
Oh, yeah. Always.
Like, what would your strategy be? I don't know. I'm putting it out there, blanket statement. Like, how do you work a ref? You know what I mean?
If they're constantly going by your bench.
Yeah.
And so if they missed one, you've got to tell them over and over again. Every time he goes by, you missed that one on Marchand. Like, why wasn't that a call? You missed that one on Marchand. Why wasn't that a call? And every once in a while, you're going to get one back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and you look at the coaching now, the one thing the referees do is they will come over to the bench if the coach is civil, and they'll explain it. Probably you don't like the explanation because you've seen it different and 100% different, but at least they'll come over and explain it. But once they've done that, now they're committed.
It makes sense.
Well, I'll say, and I think for fans, one thing they would love is for the refs to speak after a game where they have to call to answer this, and they don't. But I think fans would love for them to, on certain games, have to speak for it. And it'd be the same, that you're not going to like the answer you're going to get.
Yeah.
But at least now you're hearing from them.
Well, accountability.
Yes.
I mean, and that to me is, hey, we all are supposed to be in that realm when we play.
As a coach, you'd have to answer. If the players, if you have a bad game, you're supposed to answer. Yep. But the refs are the ones that never have to answer. And again, I don't think it needs to happen every game. No. But on certain games, there's got to be a reporter that's allowed to, one reporter that becomes the pool reporter and goes ask those questions, 3 or 4, just to get the thoughts. And then
that'd be a really good idea for playoffs.
It'd be awesome. That'd be great for playoffs.
That would be a really good idea for playoffs.
Take that out of the regular season to bring it for the playoffs? Yeah. Absolutely.
I remember one time in my 17 years covering this team, something happened. I can't remember if it was Mick Magoo that was reffing the game on one of his last seasons. Something happened in the game. It was not the face-off. It wasn't that game. It was a year or two later. And they're like, we need a comment from the ref, one of the refs. And Jim Matheson was the designated pool reporter at the time. And all the PWHA guy, professional or PHWA guys and TV and radio guys said, Jim, can you please ask the league and the officials for comment on this? And they said yes. So Matty got like 5 minutes with Mick Magoo or whoever it was, one of the senior officials, and he got some quotes from him. That was the one time in almost 20 years of covering this damn team that I saw that happen. I haven't seen it in over a decade.
Yeah.
That was probably 2009-ish, but it was refreshing. And you got an answer, and that was it. It kind of quieted things down a little bit, but now that doesn't exist. And then that was the other thing too. So you'd work a ref, and he'd come by, and you'd say stuff to him. What about the guys that wouldn't even respond to you?
Oh, there was all kinds of those.
Oh, yeah.
You just call them pricks.
I figured.
And meanwhile, he's giving it back to you.
He's a chicken.
Yeah. No, he's giving it right back to you.
Sitting in the penalty box side, you're like, you chicken.
On the other side of all this, the LA Kings, where are they at, you guys think, right now? Is that a game they're just wiping the sweat off their face, going, we got away from them? Is this one that they're going to be a little more nervous going in? Like, where do you think the LA Kings are at right now as they get ready for game 2?
You know, it's funny. It's just like 7 reds in a row on the roulette table. The odds on the next one being black are exactly what it was
for all those 7.
For all 7. So I think they're a good team. I mean, they're a very good team. and they play a certain way, and I don't expect them to change one bit from what they played last night. And if we come out and go to that dirty area and can prove that Kemper's maybe a tad fragile in there, because you have to get into there first. And it's hard against LA to get into that little box. It's really hard. But who knows? I think they got a lot of grizzled vets over there, man. I don't think this game, other than if they'd lost it, I think it would have been pretty devastating for the night. That's it.
If you're Jim Hiller, after you cough up a 4-0 and 5-2 lead that way and barely come out with that fluky goal, do you need to say something to your team even though you won that game? What would you do in Jim Hiller's situation right now?
You know what? You go right in the next morning and show positive clips.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see a reason why they got through the neutral zone as easy as we did a couple of times, then you might have to tweak something.
So business as usual, basically. You say, got the win, forget how you got it. We'll take it. Hockey gods, whatever. Let's get to work again.
Like if they're going to stand across the blue line like that, if Bush can keep moving the puck up the rink and Connor can do a swing behind, I'm telling you right now, they beat him ice cold at that blue line.
So you're breaking it with speed. That's the plan. Yeah.
But okay, let's move it up to a point where they're all stopped, which they do right across their own blue line a lot. And let's see if we can get by them right there. I don't know. I mean, going into it and trying to make plays at their blue line is not any good. They live on the turnover there. And that's the other thing is LA's power play, as good as it was last night because of Kuzmenko, is that the added ingredient, or were we horse shit killing penalties last night?
Ooh, good point.
I mean,
I think column A, column B
Well,
on that one right now.
yeah, I mean, it was a horse crap PK for basically 5 months of the year. Then it woke up for the last 2 months. Valid. It was sitting around 25th in the league for the most part of the year, and then they come out of the Four Nations face-off break, and it rose to 16th by the end of the league, a year in the league. But it's still leaky at times.
I don't think we did ourselves any favors last night killing penalties.
Yeah.
Especially early. Like we didn't seem like it's probably exactly the same way our forwards or everybody seemed out of sync.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's because 16 games or 17 games in a row, the whole group haven't been put together. I mean, so in the end, you've got breakdowns there too.
Yeah, that's good. That's a fair point.
I look at the LA Kings and go that even if they can get a lead in another game coming up, but if they get to it 2 wins in the series, they ain't going to be sitting like they'll be in their mind as soon as they get a lead. This team could blow like that. That's where I think the Oilers won a little bit yesterday. Is mentally they may have gotten slightly inside the LA Kings because of that comeback. Well, while they don't win that game, they may got a little bit of a victory because now the LA Kings, no matter what, they could be up at any point in any game now, and they're going to sit there and be like, okay, like we can't, like the Oilers could always, and then once they see Connor skating, they might go, type thing. Like this is a team that has lost the Oilers 3 years in a row. They're trying to get past this. They're trying to exercise their demons, beat their beast.
Slay their dragon. As Dennis
you.
Bernstein called it last night.
But I think that's the one benefit of the Oilers, even though they don't win that game, but coming back down 4-0 is now the LA Kings. It's just always going to be in their brain.
Well, the one thing about it is that, they're never going to be out of a game. I mean, there is too much firepower here, and it's been muted almost all year. We haven't scored at the pace we were supposed to, but if it wakes up in the playoffs, now you're a hurting unit. Like you got to think seriously about what's coming at you.
Yep, I agree with that. There's a text in here I really want to get to.
Go for it.
It's for Ron, obviously.
Before, actually, well, I'll just quickly read this.
fire off
Portions
a
of this
liner.
hour are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. We do have some of the EST blue and orange hats. Dusty and Eric were rocking those this morning together. It looks sharp. You can see it if you're on YouTube right now on the front of our desk. If you're wanting to rep the blue and orange, but also EST throughout this a little bit of a playoff run, reach out to me. Beautiful hats done by the Hive Product Marketing. We've got Ron Lowe, Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanyk with you here on the EST Hangout here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Clear choice for Edmonton Sports.
The best is seeing those on the broadcast on the road when they pop up is hilarious, and I love it. Okay, Ron, this is coming out of Calgary. It's a text, 780-218-9999. If you want to get into the text line and you want to ask Ron a question or fire a comment our way. This is one person, but I have seen this theory a lot over the years. So I'm going to just read it. I'm going to get your thoughts. Here's the text. My dad always had a theory that the NHL hated the Oilers because they were a WHA team, in parentheses, and successful. Doesn't seem so crazy to me anymore. 3 out of 4 WHA teams have been relocated as well. That's out of Calgary. I've seen texts like that, similar to it from different people. I'm always just like, okay, sure. What would you played in that era when the WHA existed. There was a rivalry, the merger. You played for the Oilers. You played for the Nordiques. What would you say to people? They're like, come on, they hate the Oilers, right?
You know, I absolutely agree. Not with that statement. The Oilers have not been a popular group because they've been so damn good. I mean, it's hard to create what they created as quickly as they did, and they were cocky.
Does that still exist 30 years later, though? Like
I think everybody thinks that you've got two guys like Draisaitl and McDavid, and somehow or other you have to temper that. And I don't know. Like, it seems like this organization has had a wealth of talent.
Yeah.
Like, spoiled rotten, basically. We haven't won a cup in a long time, but there's been some really good players go through here.
Like Zdeno Segar, obviously.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I don't think that, WHA franchises have been moved.
Yeah.
Because a couple of them weren't very bloody successful where they were. Now, Quebec, had they had a rink, they should have never been moved. If they would have had a decent rink, they would have filled. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know.
It does pop up, and like, you lived through that era, played coach, all that stuff, and that's why I'm always curious. And that thought isn't isolated to the one text. It comes up, it pops up, and people have a theory against the Oilers. Listen, I worked for them. I've been stuck with them for the last 17 years. Like I've said many times, I've got lots of friends around the league, and sometimes there are people that look at the Oilers and go, "Oh my God, I got to deal with their crap again." They do sometimes find a way to be weasels in the eyes of people around the league. I will say that.
I get that.
Yeah.
The WHA is long gone.
The WHA thing.
That's long gone.
That part. Good
Gary,
point,
does
Matty.
Gary even know what the WHA is?
John Ziegler's ghost is sitting there going, I hate the WHA.
Gary came from the NBA. I don't know if he knows what the WHA really ever was. I don't know if there's many owners around still in the NHL that would have been around the
Nelson
WHA days.
Scalmania kicking around.
Like, it's just...
I'll tell you
I
what.
think they're good with it. I think the like if you want to say that through the 80s, they'll go, sure, maybe there would have been something. This long away. Yeah, no, it's more recent stuff that maybe that there's
Any
a
player
dislike.
in the league right now that doesn't even know what the WHA was should be thankful that it happened. Because if you want to find a market that started moving and players being marketable, it all started with the Golden Jet going to Winnipeg, and all of a sudden, $1 million contracts. And hey, There's a lot of rich guys out there right now because of it.
That's a great point. I mean, and then like getting Gordie Howe, just to talk about Gordie Howe to play with his sons with Houston.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he could still play. That's what was bad.
I saw somebody again, like on social media, somebody posted his last, it was the anniversary of Gordie Howe's last ever NHL goal at the Montreal Forum, I believe it was. And he like somehow slapped a backhander in from like 50 feet out. And I had to like rewind it. And I'm like, how did that go in? Did he smack that backhanded? And it went in. I'm like, okay, 80s. It was a little bit different, obviously, the way the game was played, goaltending and all that. I'm like, beast of a like.
But he's also still 50 at the time. Like,
he was over
right?
50.
He could actually
Switch his hands, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh my God.
And shoot, like still shoot the other way.
He looked like a freaking bull when he was out there.
He was a strong man. Oh my God, he had no neck. It was just a head on shoulders, and it was like, whoa, like scary person. Really, really a unbelievable guy too.
Speaking of that, really quickly, we have 2 pucks that a listener brought in.
Yeah.
One's a Calgary.
Oh, yeah.
Was it Wrangler? No, Stampeders of the WHA. What was
I don't
it?
think it's Stampeders. I don't
It's
think
the
the one out there is-
Calgary
yeah.
Cowboys.
It's not
It
Stampeders.
has a cowboy hat. And Indianapolis Racers, and they're old pucks from the WHA from like 1974 or whatever.
Wow.
And Joaquin, who just showed up, and I were like looking at. We have like new pucks, and we're like, they seem different. It was. I'll show them to you after we're finished the show. But it was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, no, unbelievable.
The most successful rival league in North American sports ever. Like USFL challenged the NFL for a bit, but the NBA's never had a challenger. The MLB's never had a challenger, and the NFL still can't have challengers. WHA was very successful for that time. And then,
they were.
Yeah,
right?
You were in the NHL during that time when the WHA existed, right? Did you ever get? Because I was talking to Doug Hicks about this, and I was like, Hicksy, did you ever get offers from the WHA? He's like, yeah, I got $1 million offer, but I went to Minnesota instead, and they gave me a good contract.
I wasn't in the $1 million class, but I had the Winnipeg Jets definitely were really interested when I was in Washington. And yeah, there was tons of offers out there, but you didn't know which ones you could possibly take that weren't going to go under tomorrow.
That's scary.
And that's what was scary. Now, the WHA probably made my career because they took Bernie Perrant out of Toronto, and that left them with a big hole and a 22-year-old fat kid to play. So I ended up being pretty damn lucky at the time.
Well, you made it work.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the story. There was a lot of players that ended up moving into the league, the NHL, a lot younger than they would have normally had the WHA not taken place.
There's Live Golf now, and there's a lot of people that don't like the golfers that left to Live Golf, and fans don't like them, and some players aren't fans. And was there beef at all, or like was there any like eyebrows raised to anyone that went to the WHA at the time, or was it just whatever?
Absolutely not.
No,
there was nothing, because if you're getting $1 million from Winnipeg and you were offered 440 from Chicago, what would you do? I mean, you sit there and look at it and you go, okay, now is it guaranteed? Is it not guaranteed? I mean, there was a lot of money that got thrown around that never got thrown around. I mean, there was all kinds of guys that signed contracts. Derek Sanderson signed the contract. I don't know if he ever got a dime out of it. No, it was a dicey league in the fact that you never knew who was going to be around or who was going to go under. But the league itself, there was some really successful franchises in it, and they're alive today still.
I'm wrong on many things. Reed and Miguel corrected me. American League versus National League and MLB. Yeah, they came together.
Okay.
ABA in the NBA to challenge. They had teams join the NBA.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So
There you go.
So there were a lot of rival leagues that have worked out.
Okay, Ron brought up Derek Sanderson. Like, I've watched some documentaries and stuff. When he was when he got his $1 million contract, or was it he was like hanging out at Studio 54 in New York, and he was part of like the It crew in New York City. Like, I mean, he wasn't sleeping or anything. Like, he was just partying the whole time. Like, I don't know how he did it, but was there a lot of that back then? Like, I know guys like to go out, but man, like, they're like, Derek Sanderson's at Studio 54. Derek Sanderson's hanging out with supermodels, and he's got like so-and-so and so-and-so, and he's running this club. And I'm like, well, what about playing hockey, Derek Sanderson? And obviously his career kind of went sideways, and I know he had his own struggles, but
there was, we're not going to go there because.
Let's go. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Let's dive right in.
There is, that was a different era. Totally different era. You had a 6-week training camp to get rid of the booze you drank all summer. I mean, let's get serious. It is totally different than it is today. And
you go to training camp to get in shape. Nowadays, you're expected to be in the shape.
And unbelievable shape when you get there. Like, no, it's a different game now. I know we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of fun. There were no cell phones to take selfies and pictures, and thank God.
Those were the days where the broadcasters that travel with the team could sell themselves as backup goalies to meet a girl. And they did.
EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. Canada storage expert, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transitions. Canadian storage provider, sentinel.ca. Do want to remind people on 2 things. Today, we got Lock Shop coming up at 11. We've got 2 guys and a goalie. We've got EST Afternoons. We've got the Reed Wilkins Show with J Mill. Tomorrow for the GCL Oil Stream pre and post game shows, Tommy will be on location at Hudson's on Bourbon Street.
They took out the
for
vowels.
game 2. Again, a 90-minute pregame show. 6:30 will be on the air right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, as the Oilers will look to even up their series with the LA Kings tomorrow at 1 apiece. We will have coverage on the station tomorrow 6 till 8.
Yeah.
So there was a 14 hours straight of coverage leading into the game. And then obviously Tommy will have the post-game show for you as well tomorrow alongside Hernan Salas. We will get back to talking some NHL stuff here, but we do have Ron Lowe here. And one of the reasons we have Ron Lowe here is next week at I got to make sure I get it right. It's the Booster Juice Rec Center, formerly known as the Terwilliger Rec Center. It is Hockey Helps the Homeless. It is back. Are you set up? Are you ready? You ready for another one?
Yeah, we are. We've got 14 men's teams and 4 women's teams this year. Guys have been doing a lot of due diligence, raising money in a atmosphere that is kind of tough trying to raise money. I think we sit somewhere around 220 grand right now, and I think we want to get to 350. So anybody that wants to go out there and donate, you can go on to Hockey Helps the Homeless Edmonton chapter and pick out a player to back, whatever. It's this is I think it's our 13th year here. Somebody said 14, but I think it's 13. And we've raised $1.8 million for homeless in Edmonton. This year, like I said, we want to try and beat Calgary. I think they were in the 340, 350 range, and we're going to try and get to 350, Calgary and Edmonton, that kind of a thing. And we actually had a little get-together VIP night the other night at Lux, and had a hot stove and had a bunch of VIPs, and it raised some money. And Evander Kane walked in to take out food, and Bucky roped him up on stage for a couple of questions.
No, not Bucky.
Yeah, a couple of questions on the hot stove. It was wild. And we raised a little bit of money that night. And it's this game, it's a 1 day, you play 3 games. Our alumni here are freaking fantastic. Like when you start talking about Mac D playing 3 games in a day, and you start, Bucky could play 10.
Wow.
Dean McCaman's coming in this year.
Yeah.
And Alex Hemsky's coming to play this year, which is really, that's cool. I mean, this is NHL Oiler alumni do an unbelievable amount for the city, and can't thank them enough. And all the participants, man, it's been, like I said, it's been a tough grind.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's got everything in a freaking uproar, and it doesn't seem to be changing. So it's if you've got some extra cash, throw it our way. We'll get it dispersed. We've got the 3 charities that we deal with. Kids Cottage. I've got 2 daughters that have 2 children now, 1 year and a half and 1 5 months. And I could not imagine those 2 girls being in a homeless shelter. Like, I can't even imagine it. If you're in some kind of an abuse situation and you have to leave home, like, I just shudder to even think about it.
Yep.
And here we are. We have a chance to help this charity out. Jasper Place Wellness Center, who has done an unbelievable job at getting homeless into, first of all, homes, their actual apartments, and get them back working.
Yep.
And phenomenal job they do.
Mm-hmm.
And the mustard seed, man, it's been here for forever. And I know if you're hungry and need a meal, you need clothes, it's always there and always has been. So the charities that we deal with are pretty close to my heart. I've never been homeless, thank God. And probably a couple of times could have been. But you know what I mean? It's we don't choose that lots of times.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people that are living day to day on your neighbor's couch, and they're going to work every day, and they don't have enough food or enough. It's a crazy life out there right now, and there's too much of it. And anything we can do to help, try and do it.
I like that you brought up like the single moms. That happens because I think, first of all, like Maddie and I live right by the arena, and we see there's a lot of homeless, obviously, different scenario. And I think most of us, I'm guilty of it too, think of right away, it's like those people that we see pushing around a cart, yelling at whatever. But you brought up the young mom, no dad, trying to work, staying on a couch, getting help from people. That's a good reminder, and I'm glad you brought that up, Ronnie.
No, it's a real tough situation right now in our city.
Yeah.
But all over Canada, homes are expensive and living's expensive.
Yep.
And anything you can kind of do to help people out that are in that situation, because like the last thing you want to do is have a mom and a kid out on the street somewhere, and vulnerable, where you can, and we don't have enough of these things. Kids Cottage is, now that I've got my granddaughters, is a really close kind of a thing to my heart, because you sit there and you look at it and go, God, this, it could happen. Stuff happens.
Yep.
And lots of times it's out of your control. And like you said, we look at around the rink or downtown Edmonton lots of times, and you think of the homeless as just the homeless that are, like you said, pushing around a cart.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people that are living on borderline that it's an amazing thing in our city.
Yep.
And anything we can do to help, try and do it.
Lots of ways to help with it too. We will be there on location, broadcasting live from the morning show through the Reed Wilkins show next Friday. But you can head hockeyhelpsthehomeless.com, click on the Edmonton page. You can go donate to a player. There is silent auction day of, which is a lot of fun. So you could come on down. It's just a fun atmosphere. Last year was the first time I was able to get to it, because for a number of years at 1260 we broadcast from there, but I was always at the station and I just heard all the fun.
Yeah.
Last year getting to go and be a part of all the fun was amazing. So if you just want to, if you're in the area, get to go to the Booster Juice Rec Center. You get to watch Alish Hemsky play hockey again.
Yeah,
go watch Alish play. Go watch Laddie Schmiegel. Go watch Gager play.
Him,
And there's the silent auction. And the silent auction, I believe, if it's like last year, it's online. So even if people can't go, you could jump in.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of ways to help and there's a lot of ways to donate, but you could also go spend part of your Friday afternoon watching Ales Hemsky play hockey again. How great is that?
That's the good part about it is that it's not, you don't have to pay to come and watch. And it's surprising. There's a lot of people have come out over the last couple of years, more and more now. And our draft night is the night before. That's for just the players and the alumni, where they get to pick draft picks. And of course,
That's a fun night.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is really good. And to me, that's part of the equation with this, the way we do it. The guys are with their teams for a full day in dressing room. You get to hear stories that you wouldn't probably be privy to otherwise, and some of the most impressive people that I know in sports are hockey players.
Yeah.
They are so down to earth and into whoever's sitting in the room with them.
Yep.
It's awesome. It's a blast. And we're looking forward to it this year. We really are. It's got a great group of alumni. Hey, man, we got a couple of guys that are on the wall in Edmonton up there, Charlie and Mac T. It's good.
We had Brian Skrudland on our team.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
No, Brian, I actually was going to mention Brian because you're not the only one that said it. I was talking to somebody the other day and said, if this guy's up for a draft, we're taking him again because he has some unbelievable Hitchcock stories. Like,
oh my God.
He is unbelievable funny man.
And he knows, like, he just takes over the room. And like, that's the thing. It's like, somehow we ended up with Laddie Schmid. And I covered Laddie when he was an Oiler. We had him and Brian Skrudland, and Brian takes over the room, and he just goes in. Like, he knows he's got you, and he tells those stories. And he'll be like, back in '87, I was playing for the Habs. Here's my Stanley Cup ring, by the way. Take a look at that. One of the diamonds fell out. Couldn't find it. I think I dropped it in this city. And I remember being like, okay, Brian Skrudland, I remember you as a star. You guys beat the Oilers after they beat the Stars in '97. I remember you in Florida. Yeah, I have a hockey card of you playing for Calgary, and I remember reading somewhere you played for the Habs. And he just dives in and tells you all these ridiculous stories that you're like, you're full of shit. And then it's like, no, that actually happened.
No. He's
the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, and you talk about telling stories. Like, he can, I don't know, he can relate. And like the guy, everybody goes, God, he was a captain.
I get it why he was a captain.
No, unbelievable.
After 5
This
minutes,
guy,
I'm like, yep, that guy.
Yeah, this guy
I'd
just
follow him.
Talker and can converse, and yeah, it's unbelievable.
He I guarantee you was never afraid of anything. And if he was, you would have no idea.
No.
I'm like, that guy is crazy. I like him.
No,
After
he's
5
coming
minutes.
back again this year too. Like,
whoever gets him is lucky.
He's going to be a fixture now for sure.
Yeah.
If you get to the Booster Juice Rec Center, you'll hear Strutty's laugh at some point too. I can guarantee that. That's you'll just be somewhere and you'll just hear.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. So yeah, lots of ways to help out. And again, 3 great charities. Musters.
Our committee has been doing an unbelievable job this year too. We've been out and around town. You've got Rose and Darcy at Cameron Homes that just keep giving. Them and Park Lighting are in a major brawl right now to see who gets first draft pick. They're the fundraisers of the.
Nice.
It's been unbelievable. Like, this has been a year that I was actually thinking, it's 75 years old. I'm about ready to freaking quit this stuff. But this has been a fun year. And working with this committee, you got Pat Keaty out of the Brew.
Oh, yeah, that's who we end up playing with.
We know Patty.
We know Patty. They're a partner with us.
How good is that, man?
He's okay. We like him.
Yeah, it's been tremendous. I've enjoyed the year, and if they want to keep me on as honorary chair, I probably might do it one more year.
Well, you and Linda have been doing it for a while, and we did go on location last year, and we did all our shows from the rink. And Maddie was like, Ron came and he like hung out for a while on the show, and he sat down, he was shooting the breeze, and I'm like, yeah, because do you see him when he's not on the air, everybody's asking him a million questions. He probably thought that was a break going on the air with us.
That was fun. I don't mind going into dressing rooms too. If guys are playing terrible, give them shit. I mean, it's all good. It's just it's
in
a
your
part.
blood.
It's a part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve McIntyre was fantastic too last year.
Steve was good. Ron Struddy.
He's back again too.
Yeah, I see.
Mac is back.
There's a lot of hockeyhelpshomeless.com. Click on the Edmonton chapter. That's where you can donate, but also you can see all the pros that are playing. So there's so many to go through. But yeah, I like Laddie Schmid is on here, but you get to watch Alex Hemsky again.
I don't think George is coming back this year because
no way, not George.
I think him and Mac almost got into it there a couple of years ago. That was unbelievable.
Okay.
Ben Scrivens too. I see
It was,
Ben.
Benny Scrivens. So we've got Matt Cassian. Matt Cassian's been with us since the 1260 days when we were TSN 1260. And Cass was playing last year too. And he comes and he hops on one of the shows and he goes, "Hey, your team almost got into a fight." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And me and Dusty were on the air for our show from noon to 1. And we're like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, there was a guy on this team that started some stuff, and Laddie got mad and started getting mad at him. And then another guy from your team wanted to fight him. And then
It was,
and I'm like, this is a charity
hockey.
tournament."
Yeah, but it's hockey.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? It's, I don't know.
And then you're right. George and Steve, someone was saying,
Well, they were on different
yapping at
teams,
each
and
other.
there was a big pushing match going on.
Yeah.
And George is funny. He just grabbed the guy and he's kind of dangling him. His feet aren't touching the ground. And Max on the other team, so Max has to go over and settle George down.
Oh.
It was a riot. But no, it's fun. It's fun to go watch if you want to come out. And like I said, there's no charge. If you want to donate something or get something on the live auction or silent auction, go for it. It's awesome.
Yep.
You'll hear a lot more about it as well next Friday because, as we said, we will be there on location the entire day, and it's going to be an absolute blast. Can't wait for that. So yeah, Hockey Helps the Homeless. It's in support once again. I want to make sure I get the Mustard Seeds Kids Cottage and Jasper Place Wellness Center. Right now, it does say just over 200,000. The goal. It's saying 325 on here, but let's make it 350.
No, it's 350.
Let's make it 350. Yeah, and got to beat Calgary.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Like you can't allow Calgary to win out.
No, it's absolutely crazy.
It's just unacceptable.
Can't have that.
The official drink of the EST Hangout is the Finnish Long Drink Legend 1952 drink, unlike any other sparkling refreshment. Longdrink.com/candy can enter your postal code and find a store or establishment nearest you with the long drink in stock.
That was your best toss of the day, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Hung in the air.
He's got it down. He's got that wrist flick.
One of them I need to re-glue it because it's fluttering now in the air.
Yeah.
So I got to go fix that. What other playoff series have kind of got your attention right now?
I'll tell you what, the Montreal game last night was incredible. Like, what a great you know what? They've all been really good. You think that Avalanche are going to knock Dallas right out of the box, and all of a sudden, like the league is actually the way it's supposed to be. It's pretty balanced.
Yeah.
And you say who can win. You know what? If the Oilers don't, I hope Winnipeg does.
Ooh.
I actually really do. That would be the only team that I would even. Well, I won't call Toronto. No way. I wouldn't mind the Canadians.
Well, yeah. I mean, that would have to be like a miracle run, right?
Yeah.
Like they're,
But nice comeback yesterday to get,
Oh,
to, get
God,
to
I
love
overtime.
that.
They played good.
Yeah. And then Ron McClain jinxed it.
what do you say?
In the intermission before overtime, he's like, "Ovi's never scored a playoff OT winner." And Elliot's
Kiss
like,
of death.
And Elliot was right there, was just like, "Yeah, and if he does tonight, Ron, like you just like Habs fans are gonna be mad at you." And then overtime comes, and who scores the goal? It's Ovi.
Like, it's unbelievable. Eh? Like, the man gets, he's old. Hockey standards, he's old. So is Corey Perry. And they just keep kind of clicking around.
I know.
Like, it's absolutely a tribute to both of them. Like, it's a hard game.
It's also surprising that Ovi's never scored a playoff OT winner.
Yeah, no kidding. Eh?
Good point.
Like you think, like for that to be his first after, like, and it's not like the Caps haven't been in the playoffs; they've been in it a lot.
Oh yeah,
and he's never got an OT winner until last night, which is just wild. Florida and Tampa actually starts tonight too.
That'll be
finally.
It's taken that long, and they don't start till 6:30 our time.
That's 8:30 Eastern.
Yeah,
That's insane.
According to my app right now, it has 4 o'clock Hurricanes Devils. Maybe my time zone must be off. Because it also says the Golden Knights are at 9 o'clock tonight.
Really?
Yeah, for us. I got to double check this. But we might have playoff hockey starting at 4, which I actually don't mind.
No,
sure.
That'd be a nice little start to all of that.
Golden Knights at 7.
Yeah.
Devils Hurricane.
No, Golden Knights is at 9. Tampa, Florida's at 6:30 our time, which is 8:30 out there. Toronto, Ottawa's at 5:30 our time.
Yeah, this
and
is
Carolina,
wonky.
New Jersey's at 4 o'clock our time.
Okay.
So
Sure.
the Lightning and Panthers will finally get going for their game 1 tonight, but it's not going to be until 8:30 Eastern time, which is pretty wild. But it's a doubleheader on ESPN. Well, it looks like a triple header on ESPN. Devils Hurricanes at 4 is on ESPN. Then it goes into Panthers Lightning at 6:30. And then at 9 o'clock, it's Wild Golden Knights, while Maple Leaf Sens is on ESPN 2. So maybe ESPN was trying to hope for a little bit of a triple header and stuff. By the time Lightning Panthers face off, that might be almost 9 o'clock.
Jeez.
Out there.
That's wild.
Okay, John Cooper, longest tenured coach in the NHL. Mike Sullivan, second longest. Jared Bednar, third longest. Chris Knobloch, I think we said was what, 15th?
13th.
13th. He's been the coach of the Oilers for less than 2 years.
Because I think Patty Waugh was 15 now.
He's been with the Islanders for like a year and a bit.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, Ron? Like, I know coaches are hired to get fired, but they don't even last like 2 years now.
No, I've got some really weird stuff going on out in Vancouver too. Is talking on the walk or what?
I don't think he wants to stay there.
Oh,
He wants to go to Philly. That's what, once Philly made the change, everyone thought he'd want to go to Philly.
Okay, fair, because he was a Flyer for years, went back to them late in his career too. I think he finished his career there. Anyway, when you're the head coach and you've got an owner who's a bit different and you have a GM and president that you don't really know who's running the show, and then you got superstars that don't like each other, like, how do you win in that? How do you even handle that situation?
and you've got your best player that wants to go play with his brothers.
yeah.
What do you make of Rutherford just saying that?
Well, you know what? If the kid doesn't want to be where you're at,
But why would you say that publicly?
yeah.
That's the part I don't understand.
Well,
is why
you know
would
what? It takes a little stress off the GM when they move him. Because
You're putting that out
it's
there already?
tactic.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he starts in Vancouver this year.
The
No
Rick
way.
Tocchet one is interesting. If I'm the Canucks, I almost exercise my option for him.
But you're forcing him to.
You trade him.
You trade your coach?
Yeah.
I know
Been
that's
done
happened
before.
It's
Yeah.
been, and that's
Pat
where
Cor-
I would like go. Okay,
Pat Burns got traded.
yeah.
right?
If I'm,
Yeah.
I'm like, we're doing this. Where do you want to go? You're wanting to go to Philly? We want some sort of compensation. We
Okay.
want a 6th round pick.
100%.
We want something for this. We have control over you, just like players.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they're not doing something like that. Okay, you want to let's negotiate. Let's see if we can do something.
Well,
but
they
if not,
probably are.
yeah. But if you want to go somewhere else, we're gonna trade you, and we can do that because we're gonna exercise your option. I'm surprised that
Okay.
you don't see that. That's why that's the only I was coming. I wouldn't want him back as a coach by forcing him that way because he's gonna not care.
Right.
But I'm just surprised you wouldn't try to see that as an asset and go, well, we can get you somewhere. We just want something.
Yeah.
Maybe even a middle level, an AHLer to help fill out our farm system or something.
Restock the shelf.
Yeah.
That to me is the most weirdest one of all. I thought they were going to be fighting for a playoff spot,
100%.
and be right in the mix.
They won the division last year.
I mean, wow.
Shania Goldman.
Yeah.
I might be pronouncing it wrong. Shayna from The Athletic. She put down the average tenure of head coaches. MLB's 4.3 years. NBA's 4.12 years. NFL's 4.04 years. The NHL currently average tenure of a head coach is 2.3.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Scenario. You're Vancouver's head coach. Ron Lowe's the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. You got all the crap that's happening with the players. You got your owner who's different, and then a GM and a president that you don't know which guy's in charge day to day. Like, how do you manage a situation like that? How would you go about it?
You know what? The manager and the owner and that group, you kind of, if you're coaching, you kind of got to disregard.
Okay.
But what went on in their dressing room this year must have been just atrocious.
Huh.
It had to be because, like, you trade JT Miller. I mean, the guy was, and basically the day they traded him, Doc had said heart and soul. Now, that says, and probably why Dockett's thinking seriously about moving on, because I don't know. I don't know how you would handle a room like that, because I never ran into the problem. But that would have been, to me, if you've got your two best players that don't like each other, I've never seen. I mean, usually you can get along, at least.
Yeah.
You just be
Get through
professional.
There's lots of people that probably thought Peter Klima was different here in Edmonton, but we all ended up, you get along with the guy because he can help you.
Yeah.
I mean, he does things for you on the ice. He may be a little off the wall,
Yeah.
but like you got to look at him as something that's workable. I don't know. To me, that was the weirdest thing out there this year.
You couldn't even hide it. Like
No.
it was the worst kept secret in the league.
No, I don't know. I would not want to have been involved in any of that as a coach, because I guess that kind of is out of your hands too.
Yeah. Selfishly, I'll ask this because I was born in '85, so I remember like the '90s Oilers, your Oilers. Did you have a lot of dealings with Peter Pocklington as a coach? Or was it just you would deal with Glenn and then you would worry about the team? Like, what was that like? And then you had a little bit of an Edmonton Investors Group before Kevin came in after you were finished here, right?
Yeah, Puck and I, we got along
Yeah.
because I didn't really care what he thought of me. No, I didn't.
Well, I
Honest to
respect
God.
that. Yeah,
I
yeah.
really didn't care what he thought of me, and I actually said one day he was freaking cheating on the golf course. He marked this ball with a freaking marker and flipped it 4 feet closer to the hole.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, it wasn't a big deal with me with Peter, because, and you know what? I say what you want. The guy bought hockey here and was a huge part of the Oilers even being here. And Glenn said, "Here you go. You're coaching.
Yeah.
Go do it, because it's your mistakes that are going to get you fired, or the flip side."
Yeah.
And hey, yeah, that's kind of how it went. And I think probably twice in my life I ever had run-ins with Glenn, and both times they were in New York.
When you were with the Rangers.
Yeah, never here.
What?
Never here.
You would think that here would be more pressure packed than New York. And I know New York's a great hockey market, but it's different than here.
No,
But-
in New York, I had a problem with Theo, and
Oh,
Theo had a problem with life at the time.
Yeah.
Which he's cleaned up and become a really good spokesman. But yeah, I told Glenn, we got to get this guy to either rehab or gone. One of the two.
He was going berserk on the ice at that time. I remember that.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Glenn says, "You got to hold on. I'm going to trade him. I'm going to get him." Never happened, and I lost my team. And
You had good players.
biggest mistake ever in my life is not forcing that issue at that time. You either fire me or get rid of the guy, because I wasn't in full control. And if you're coaching and you're not in full control, then somebody else is.
Oh, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Well,
How would you compare coaching here to New York?
Oh, totally different.
Yeah.
100%. Coaching here, at the end of the day, when you were done the game and you lost, if you got kicked, you had to sit there and think your game plan was wrong, because your players basically did what you asked of them. And if you came out and said this and this, and you end up getting your butts kicked, then it's your problem, probably. In New York, that wasn't so much like that, because you had so many individuals there that had played in different schemes.
Yes.
And everybody had an idea about how the game was supposed to be played, that basically you could say, this is how we're going to kill penalties. and in the middle of a penalty kill, you're going, what the hell was that? Like, and so no, here was the easiest. Like it was pressure. I love the fan base here, man. Are you kidding me? They're into it. They're happy when they win. They're not so happy when they lose.
Yeah.
And it means something to them.
Did you
But-
feel anything from Rangers fans, or like how? Because that's a loaded market sports wise. What's it like with Rangers fans?
You know, it was kind of weird in the last year with New York. I was 28th of December. I was in a fight with Pat Quinn, who was going to coach the All-Star game, because we were 2 points behind him or 1 point behind him.
Yep.
And we go on a road trip beginning of January. Lindros knocks himself out, hitting a guy. The guy's helmet comes back, snaps, and hits him in the head.
Yep.
He goes concussion. Mark, I don't know if he broke his thumb or something at his wrist. The next game, the game after that, Peter Nedved buggers up his ankle. I go from those 1, 2, 3 centers to Manny Malhotra as my first line center,
Oh,
who has scored 8 goals in the league.
Great face-off guy.
Great
if I remember.
face-off.
So
guy.
I went from hero to not such a hero by the end of the
And do
year.
you feel it from their fan base though? Like it's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, you do.
oh yeah.
that's-
They're pissed when they're not winning, and they're a really good fan base too. Though
Yeah.
they like their hockey team.
Oh, I
boy.
love that's
They
a
really do.
that's a great market. It's so unique.
Yeah,
Great
Okay.
voice. It was Sam Rosen.
Sam Rosen,
Oh,
yeah,
Retired.
just- yeah.
Great voice.
Sam and JD were there
Oh.
when I was there.
Oh.
They're a fucking pair.
Legends.
Yeah.
Okay, your roster in 01-02, because I remember when I'm like, wait, Ron coached the Rangers. Eric Lindros, Theo Fleury, Mike York, who was actually pretty
Mike
damn
York.
good for
No,
a
Mike
few
York
years.
was a great
Yes.
player for us.
Yes, and he ended up here for a bit, and was actually a good Oiler briefly. And I think the lockout kind of killed his career. Brian Leach, legend. Peter Nedved, Radek Dvorak, good Oiler. Vladimir Malakov, who was a sneaky good defenseman for a
defenseman.
long time. Yeah. Andreas Johansson, Sandy McCarthy, the Moose, Brian Berard, Matthew Barnaby, Pavel Bure. Like, you have Hall of Famers on this team. Manny Malhotra, like you mentioned, Michael Samuelson. You did have Zdeno Seagar again. Worst helmet of all time. Like Marty Ruchinski, Tom Pody, Igor Ulanov, legend.
I loved Ulanov.
Mikhail Groshek, Sylvain Lefebvre. Like, this is like a team of like legit NHL.
Is that Richter?
Mike Richter and Dan Black. Dan Blackburn's career
remember
cut
Dan
short.
Blackburn.
Yeah, that like you literally had all stars that and legends and stuff. Like, how do you just go, okay, Mark, please take care of your guys. Let me know what I need to know. Like, how do you manage them? Because I'll ask Joaquin as soon as we step out of the studio here. Hey, what was Ronnie like when he was your coach? And he'll be like, I loved him. He was a great guy. But like, how do you manage that roster with those guys?
There was too many different
Egos.
egos in that room.
No
Way too
kidding.
many.
So does that come down to more coaching egos than hockey to try to manage the egos?
No, you still try and do what you want, what you're trying to do, trying to accomplish. But like it was a really weird group, and if we hadn't got injured, I think we would have made playoffs that year and probably done damage. But Theo speared the frickin' mascot in San Jose, speared him out of the stands, and like it was dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Theo, Eric, and Mike York were the best line in hockey up until Christmas that
They're
year.
great players.
Yeah,
Legit great players.
like unbelievable. They were number one line, and the Czechs, Dvorak, Nedved, and what the other guy's name? Really good player too.
No mention
He
of
ended up
Zdeno
getting
Seagal,
traded.
but
I
whatever.
can't even remember where he ended up.
Thomas Kluchek, Mikhail Groshek, Peter Smrek. That sounds like a Czech. You guys had Rico Fata. I remember when he had like a lot of gusto behind him. Marty Ruchinski.
Yeah,
There's a Czech. Oilers draft pick.
yeah. Yeah, he was a pretty damn good player. Too.
Yeah, he played a long time.
That's who was on the line because we had the 3 Czechs together, and they played really well. They were probably in the end, outside of Mark and Leach, they were probably the most coachable. The Czechs, they were unreal. But wow, there was a weird bunch. Igor Ulanov and
Why does everybody love Igor Ulanov, by the way, Ron?
I have no idea.
He's like a legend around here.
He's number 55.
Yeah.
But he was great. It was just fun to watch. He was
Yeah.
just that stay-at-home defenseman that you enjoyed watching. I don't know. I loved him.
Yeah,
I was a big Ulanov fan.
Yeah.
Him and Vlad played together there.
Malikov?
Yeah, and they were pretty handy too. Malikov he could play power play a bit too. He was pretty good hockey player.
Yeah. Like I remember when he was a Hab and people raved about him.
Oh yeah.
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 Like you had a great lineup. But yeah, if you're saying you got Theo Fleury going berserk, and then you got Eric Lindros, Mark Messier, Peter Nedved. Remember Peter Nedved's wife?
Oh,
When they're like, he's never coming to Edmonton.
No,
she doesn't want to move here.
that was If we hadn't got injured, and they were long term, like I think they all missed at least 6 weeks. Had they not got injured, I think we would have been really good that year. And then Richter comes back from the Olympics,
Yep.
gets hit with a slap shot from center ice, concussion. He's done for the year. And that's when Danny Blackburn had to come in.
Yeah.
And it was too early for him,
He was what, 19?
but he was a terrific goalie. And then
Yeah.
the guy explodes his own bicep lifting weights. Come on. Goalies lifting weights. Get over
He
it.
tried to use 2 blockers.
Yeah. Come on.
What about that fat kid that made the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
Okay, my last one.
No, go
is
for it.
selfish. What was it like coaching Eric Lindros? Because that was kind of at the end of his career.
Actually, Eric was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was not a problem at all. Not even a little bit. I really enjoyed him and Yorkie were just like they kind of read off each other. Theo was the wild card. He would do wherever and they would kind of find him. But Eric was a hell of a hockey player.
Oh, yeah.
He was a really good hockey player. Probably if he didn't have the concussion thing, I think he would have been one of the greats. He was a huge man.
Yeah.
Big, strong, and
Good hands.
oh God almighty, good hands and win faceoffs. If he was in the right frame, he was as good as Leon without getting thrown out. Every faceoff was just a battle.
Yeah. Don't tell the linesman to F off every face off.
Yeah, whatever. I get it. Yeah, exactly.
So again, Oilers tomorrow. They get the LA Kings. GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show that will get going at 6:30 tomorrow. Getting you set for that game. For the Oilers today, they do have a media avail coming up at 1:00 our time, I believe it is. It doesn't look like there's going to be a practice today for the Edmonton Oilers, but Chris Knobloch and select players will meet to the media at 1:00. Okay, we've got just a few more minutes left here on the show. What's being said in the locker room today for the Edmonton or with the group today, and how should the Oilers prepare for tomorrow?
Just do what you did yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean, in the end, you're going to have to come out better than you started, and probably not whatever a penalty is. Don't take them, and because now, if they think they can score in every power play, that becomes a problem for you. And the only thing I guess that's really good is that Skinner stoned the 5-on-3, and
there's a turning point.
You know, it was.
There's a really big turning point in that game.
In that game, it was. If they score another one, it's 6-2 and done. So no, I think I think they go about their business and knowing that they're good enough to break through this whatever you call wall.
That 1-2-2. Don't call it a 1-3-1. They'll get offended in LA.
You're totally offended by that.
Yeah. We changed it to a 1-2-2.
Yeah.
Oh, they brought that one guy a little closer up.
Yeah, we moved one guy out. It's different.
No, yeah, it's totally different, and it's the way people have been doing things for. There's only so many things you can do in hockey,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and every time you change it, it used to be the way you played, and now it's structure. It used to be the offensive thrust into the corners. Well, that's always been there.
Yeah.
What is it? You just reinvent ways of saying it. I love it.
What do the Oilers need to do to be better defensively? What's the key to that for you guys?
Get Ekholm.
Well, that's not happening. So is there anything they could do in your eyes?
Yeah.
Well,
Because again, if we're talking about Skinner's goals, the 5-6 that he let in, there's the flutter is, we've talked about that one, and then there's the Byfield goal maybe. But what else could they do to help Skinner?
well, in the end, you got to kill penalties, and in the end, they say your goaltender's your best penalty killer. But if you don't give your goaltender a chance to make a save, killing penalties, then you've got a problem. And I don't know. They just one thing they can do, I think, is when they turn the puck over, if they're going to turn it over to offensive blue line, which is they got to quit. They got to quit that one completely. But if they do turn it over, make sure you're forcing back. Like early in the game, there was a couple plays where the back checker on the turnover wasn't coming back hard enough. I think they were nervous. That's what I really do think. And I think they'll be way better tomorrow night.
Tommy, for you, what are the Oilers? How could they be better a little defensively?
Everything that Ron said, somebody's asking what Peter Nedved's wife looks like, so I'm sending them a picture.
She was an SI supermodel.
She was legit, beautiful.
She was, one of at the time when they only had an X number of.
Yes.
She was one of them for a few years.
Yeah, she was.
Was she not a cover?
Seriously.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I think she might have even been a cover. Which at that time, things are different nowadays with technology. The Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue was a big deal, and I think she might have been a cover.
Yeah.
So that explains.
Seriously, whatever Ron said is better insight than I could ever give. If I'm worried about am I worried about the Oilers? No. I describe it as they play with their food. They need to have their backs against the wall. They need to get smacked, whatever it is, to get them going. The fact that they came back in that third period, I think, is reassuring.
Yeah.
To me, at least.
I do too. I think that the way they played is the way they can play.
Yeah.
And you're not doing it by 16 passes in the offensive zone. You simplify it again.
How angry would you get if you're watching your guys, even though McDavid's the best player in the world, they're getting too cute when they have a look 20 feet out from the net?
To me, it's the most frustrating thing about this team. And I don't mind that Connor does it, but when you've got your third and fourth lines trying to be Connor, that is really frustrating. And that must drive Chris nuts.
They got cute last night.
Yeah,
again.
They did.
Yeah.
A couple of times early in the game, why? Put the puck there. You've now figured out that you can score rebound goals.
Yeah.
They're not unbelievable defense. I mean, they're not unbelievable defensemen. They're a group, a core that you can actually get into that hole and work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. I think they'll be fine.
I like ugly goals too.
Oh, it's the way it is.
Yeah. They go in, they count.
You have
You win.
to.
Yeah.
Look at the playoffs. I mean, with the exception of probably Winnipeg,
Yeah. Good
there's
point.
been a lot of dirty goals scored.
They count.
Winnipeg's making some unbelievable plays. Connor just one time and after Shifley's backhand passing,
I know.
They've been good.
They're in sync. From the start of the season, they're just.
Two-time cover model. She was
Oh, that's it?
well, she
Oh.
did.
She has great teeth.
This one.
Yeah.
Hockey Helps the Homeless. Next Friday, Booster Juice Rec Center, formerly known as the Twilliger Rec Center. Join us. We will be there, EST, from 6 until 6, but it's going to be a fun day, an exciting day. More information, hockeyhelpsthehomeless.com. Click on the Edmonton chapter there for you. and donate. Come on down, watch the players, support the players. Come watch the pros, jump into the silent auction. And again, all in support of the Mustard Seed Kid Cottage and Jasper Place Wellness Center. Ron, appreciate you coming in, spending a couple of hours with us. And we look forward to seeing you next Friday at the Booster Juice Rec Center.
That has been fun.
Oh, love it. So good, Ron.
Coming up next, it is Lock Shop with Dusty and Huss. We've got two guys. We've got EST Afternoons. We've got the Reed Wilkins Show. That's all to come here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. On behalf of Ron Lowe, Tom Gazzola, and Matt Iwanyk, thanks for tuning in to the EST Angle, presented by Sentinel Storage. A Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here, joining us today.